watch and everything says it's 4 o'clock. So I'd like to call this meeting of the City Plan Commission to order for the Wednesday, November 12th, 2005 meeting. 25, did I say 5? Well, just 20 years behind, that's all right. I have things I do that far behind also. If you wish to speak, because of law, this meeting has to be live streamed, and you will have to come to the podium to speak and be recognized. So just keep that in mind. I also would like to make mention that Craig Turpin has been elected to fill a position on the city council. We congratulate you, and I know the citizens of the city are in good hands.
Thank you.
With you there at the helm. So congratulations, and thank you for taking care of the last meeting while I was out of town. So the first item of business is approval of our meeting minutes on the October 14th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes, and let the minutes show that our commission member, Bill McFadden, is not present today. Old business, the first item of business is a public hearing for Darcy and Caleb Bell to rezone 1613 East Street from B2 to R2 for the purpose of building a home. The property had a home on it. It's in poor condition. They tore the home down and would like to build a new home on the property. Are the Bells here?
Yes.
Would you talk to us, please?
So as you saw there, we bought that piece of property. It had an old house on it with a detached garage, both in very bad shape. Couldn't save them. We tore both down, and we are wanting to just build a garage or a house with a garage there. It's always been a residential property, or I mean, it's never been a commercial. Yeah, it's always been a house and a garage, nothing commercial ever.
Okay.
To one side of the house is just another abandoned
It's an
house.
empty lot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, abandoned house owned by Core Nursing Home. The other side of the property is a vacant lot owned by Core. And to the behind us is vacant lot owned by Core.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here from the public? You may take your seat.
thank you.
Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak for this or against this? Commission members, do you have anything to say?
I do question the R2 versus R1. Is there any reason why the R2?
I think the property to the other residential property to the south is R2. And all the properties across the street are R2, so I'm just making it the same.
Okay.
And the only reason we're really rezoning, I mean, they had a house, I could have put one back, but it helps them on their setbacks by changing it to R2 from B2.
You probably wrote the businesses of people that are contingent there.
Or
Did you hear anything?
I did not.
Okay, nothing there. Being that no one from the public is speaking for or against it, and nothing from the people that were notified about it, what would you like to do?
I'll make a motion to approve.
This goes to the city council, is that correct? Correct. Okay, this will go to the city council, that's your motion?
Yep.
Have a second?
Yes.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item number 2. Is a public hearing for Anita and David Brian Morris. Correct? I hope I got that correct. Doing business as Chili Red Investments LLC to rezone the property addressed at 2535 and 49th Street, Bedford. The property consists of parcels, several of them there, and the property is currently I-2, and they wish to rezone the property for R3 to allow for townhome. Are the Norrises here? Hi there.
Hi.
Tell us about this, Brian or Anita.
Does everybody have a preliminary plan in front of them or like one or?
I think we have that in front of us here. Yes, preliminary plan.
That's just an outline at this point. I know there's still a lot of work that has to be done before, we get the building process, but I wanted to give you guys in the public a sneak peek at what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Do you have anything on the easement of utilities?
We are active. We have talked to one of the neighbors already. We have a plan in place. I'm still waiting for our survey company to follow up on
You do
that.
not have that secured yet.
It is
correct?
not secured yet.
All right, what about plans for the stormwater? Do you have anything in writing for us to look at?
No, we do not. It's still being looked at this time as well.
Okay. That presents us with a problem. We're almost asking us to approve a pig in a poke.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old-fashioned term, but something unknown. It's a little difficult to approve something that we don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But the easement of the utilities would be not really too big of a concern though.
Well, yes, it would. Yes, it would be a concern to us to pass this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I in agreement there, folks? Do you think that we need to have that?
How far along are you on, I mean, are you working with someone to get those,
Yes, we are.
to get the, all the stormwater plans?
Yes, I am.
You have an engineer or civil engineer working with the surveyor or anyone working with you?
I'll be working with them on this project moving forward to do all the storm drainage, the grading plan. Just a quick look at this, we just got involved about a week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is Travis Norman.
Yeah, I'm Travis Norman with TNG. They contracted me about a week and a half ago. So we need to do the survey, do the existing topography on it to see what the drainage flow is doing. But just from initial look at this, we're looking at a lot of hard surface here, so this will definitely need a retention pond to hold the water and release it. We still need to investigate the sanitary sewer, need to investigate the water, where everything will run. I think they've got a rough site plan here to kind of show you what they're wanting to do. And then we just need to get into the meat of it and figure out if the roads will be private, public, what's going to happen moving forward with it. But we have been contracted to look at it. We just haven't had time to dive into it yet on this.
Okay. Yeah, I find it hard for us to approve something that we really don't know. Would any of the other commission members have any comments?
What's the current zoning?
I2.
Currently,
It's I2, okay.
I'm mistaken to say that it was the other, and then the man, James Todd, changed it over. Wasn't it originally zoned the other way?
As far as I know, since zoning came in, it's been I2.
Okay, because like Mr. Todd had said that he had had it switched over for tax purposes.
I don't show any record that there's ever been anything other than I2.
To follow up on Travis's comment, yes, we have been in communications with one of the neighbors that has added a retention pond to his property. And we are looking at, hey, how can we make this better? For not only us, he's gonna have to be involved with that as well. It's because it's his property is who's gonna be the problem. It's nobody else's. So we are in communication with him as we speak, so.
How many houses are you planning, or townhouses are you planning on putting there?
I believe there's 79 on that drawing.
79. Okay. Would those be this way?
Right here.
Single story,
Pardon me?
single story,
Single story.
yes.
This should be, here's the one.
Okay.
Everyone has a copy of it.
Okay, well, thank you for telling us what you have in mind there. Since it's a public hearing, we would have to entertain comments for and against this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for your time.
Are there people from the public that would like to speak for this? Yes. Yes, come and have you signed in over here, sir? Okay, come over here and give me your name.
Leib Kovalov,
Okay,
and I own the property to the east.
to the east, okay,
That's the stone mill.
okay.
So my question is, well, I guess he answered that there's going to be 79 townhomes. I haven't seen any of the plans, but I was just curious how close it was going to get to the stone mill, to that line, and what type of things. I don't know if he's going to be fencing thing. I have a stone mill that's been there for many years, and there's a lot of stone out there, and I don't know if people are going to like that. And so I'm a little concerned about what the rezoning would, implicate for what I'm doing there, and even for future resale of it at some point.
If it were rezoned, this property would be rezoned, that would not bother the zoning on your property.
Okay, and so, obviously it's up to you guys to figure out if he meets all the requirements, like with, sewer and drainage and all those things. I just want, I'd like to know what he's, especially doing near my property, things like that. And how many people, maybe there's, right now it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. And so my concerns would be what it would bring and whether people start stealing, just more action, things like that.
I don't think many people are gonna pick up a piece of stone.
Oh, I'm not worried about the stone. I'm worried about breaking in.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So those are just my concerns.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anyone else here wish to speak against this? Yes. And could you tell me who you are, please?
Rebecca Knight,
And where do you live?
right next door to the property.
Okay,
So we would share a property line. Just a lot of unanswered questions at this point. It sounds like you guys are in the same situation. We were just wondering about layout. At the meeting a month ago, it was stated that there were maybe going to be 2 phases, and the first phase was going to be 30 or 40, and then the next phase, it was mentioned was up to 90. So maybe that number has come down a little bit. I guess my concern is, like Mr. Kopolov said, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood, pretty quiet street. There's 25-ish, maybe even less houses on 39th Street at this point. So even with the number of 79, you're tripling the amount of people, traffic, cars on that street. And we just kind of wonder what that's going to look like for us in terms of homeowners, in that neighborhood. So I think I'll take a look at these after the meeting if that's okay, because that will probably answer some of my other questions. But we were also concerned about drainage. 39th Street, even just with the rain a couple weeks ago, there's standing water, like it floods. It floods back on Industrial Drive too. So we were just wondering with all of that extra action, if there would be, storm drains and things that would be put in so that way current properties aren't flooded. Concerned about the traffic issues too, just in terms of more people and the setbacks from other properties. Our property goes lengthwise, widthwise, I don't know what you would call that, but it's a huge portion of our property line that's against this. And we just don't know how close stuff is going to be up to our house and our yard and our kids.
it's not gonna be right up to your house. But
Right.
There are certain
Setback.
setbacks
So
that
do you
have
know
to
what
be.
the setback amount would be for that? Like how many feet?
20 feet.
20 feet back from the property line? Okay. Okay. We're a pretty neighborly neighborhood. Like everybody gets along. I think we're not here to necessarily cause any problems. But we also are just in a situation where we just don't have a lot of answers for our questions yet. So that's one of my basic concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Someone else want to speak against this? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name's John Verhurl. I live at 12 Hillcrest Circle. Hillcrest Circle is just south of the 39th Street property that's being discussed here. And since we are in the area, we feel like we do have some concerns relative to being part of that greater neighborhood. There are really four things that I wanted to address today with regard to this development. So the first consideration in any kind of development would be what it does to the density, the population density in the area. And as has already been mentioned, this is going to significantly increase that. We're probably looking 3 to 4 times the current population density in the area. And anytime that happens, one of the outcomes is going to be an increase in noise, congestion, and crime. And that's not to cast any aspersions to any of the people that may move in there. It's just a matter of increased numbers and the percentages associated with that. Just a natural outcome. The traffic considerations on 39th Street is another concern of ours. With 79, 80 additional residents on 39th Street, a particular concern would be the intersection of Washington Avenue and also the intersection of State Road 37. Right now, Washington Avenue is a road that enjoys a lot of foot traffic, a lot of walkers, a lot of runners come up and down. And for the primary reason, because it's a very low, there's not a lot of traffic on that road. This will certainly make that problem worse by increasing the amount of traffic going up to Washington Avenue or coming down from Washington Avenue. The other situation, of course, is on State Road 37. And 39th Street is in a particularly unique situation based on this vicinity to the rock cuts going down to the river, to White River. With increased traffic on 39th Street, I can just see a queue of cars waiting to get on the 37, either to turn right and go north or to cross over and go south. And there's not a lot you can do in terms of traffic control at that particular intersection, just because of the topography and where it's located. And as you know, the longer you wait in a queue, the more risk you're going to take to try to get out on the 37. And so there's a concern about the public safety with regard to the increased traffic at that location. The other concern with regard to development in the area would be conservation of property values. Building 79 apartments in what would otherwise be a residential area of single-family homes is going to have an impact to the property values. Right now, you've got a lot of homeowners that are basically owner-occupiers of single-family residence. With 3 or 4 times that number now moving in as tenants, we're going to have a more transient population. And that is actually going to cause some people to say, I don't want to live in this area anymore, and look to get out. With an exodus like that, you're going to have decreased property values. And if this leads to its natural conclusion, the only people that are going to be left wanting to buy homes in this area are absentee landlords and other developers that are looking to do something similar, buy up properties, rezone it, and build more multi-family apartments. So from a neighborhood perspective, what we see is the whole character of the current neighborhood being drastically changed as a result of rezoning this area and developing it with multi-unit apartments. There's already been discussion about the utilities. There's not a lot that we can ask at this point, since there's still particulars that need to be further developed for discussion. So I won't bring that into discussion today, but the availability of public services is another consideration for any type of development that you would want to do. So what are the alternatives? Well, one alternative, of course, would be to leave the zoning as is, but the other would be to change it to R1 so that it could be developed into a subdivision of single-family homes. And that would be more along the lines of the existing neighborhoods that are currently there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir. I assume you have signed in.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
My name's Wayne Majors, current
Okay.
resident, 2418 39th Street, just directly across the road from the proposed property.
okay.
I hate to echo what everybody else is saying, but wanted to just give my point. There's a lot of concerns. A lot of the neighbors we've talked to are elderly and couldn't make it today. So we feel like the rezoning does not fit our neighborhood. And as stated, maybe a single family's homes would be more appropriate for that area. It's a very quiet neighborhood. We worry about the strain on the current infrastructure down there. The road is just, it just wouldn't handle that many people. It'd make it a lot more dangerous. And we do concerned about the noise level. It is quiet right now, pretty much. And we worry about the increased crime rate, a lot of different people coming in and out. That's pretty much all I have to say. I do request the board postpone any immediate changes so it can maybe mobilize the neighborhood down there a little better and get some more information out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Oh, my name is Terry Wagner. I live at 2343 39th Street, right next to the property that he's wanting to renovate. I really don't have much to say unless you want to hear repeats, because everything that these people have said, I concur with 100%. And as Lane said, there's a lot of older people on this street that can't get out to get to this meeting. And you really need to consider these people. These people have, as well as myself, have been there for years upon years upon years. This is all they know. And we really do need to be concerned about crime rates. We need to be concerned about traffic, safety, and all the things that goes with bringing this to fruition, such as drainage, access to a property that he's wanting to turn into, to me, it sounds like a pretty unplanned catastrophe on its way. So anyway, I basically just wanted to concur with what everybody else said here. I've been there for 18 years. So this is not new. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anyone else wish to speak?
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna echo.
My husband and I live at 5 Hillcrest Circle. I'm Becky Wright. And we moved there 13 years ago to the historical nature of the area, the single family home nature of the area, lots of people who aren't just on top of each other as in other places that we've lived in town. And I just want to echo everything 100% as well that everybody has said, because the character of the neighborhood is wonderful. We have walkers, bikers, runners. They use it for the mini marathon now, and it's just got wonderful character. And I just think that I just agree 100% with everyone else with safety, mostly safety concerns and property value concerns. I'd like to weigh in on that too.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Marcia Ralston, and I live on 18 Hillcrest Circle. We have several of us here today. John did a great job. I'm just going to echo what he said also. We are very concerned about this coming this close to our neighborhood. One thing that I haven't heard mentioned is the water problem that we already have coming down Washington Avenue and then off of 39th in behind some houses. And it all goes into Johnetta Orender's backyard, which is the first house going into the circle. She was supposed to be here, but she had to get someone to take care of her kids to get here, her grandkids. She keeps after school every night when the bus comes. So I want to speak for that. If you've not been down around the circle and seen her backyard, it's very sad. And it's hurting her to ever sell her home. I mean, it's deep. And Barbara Sargent used to live there. She lives on the circle, Barbara does now, but she had moved and has built another home there. And she didn't have that problem then. So something has occurred through the years, you know, that changed since Barbara lived there to flooding her backyard. And my husband and I walk every day, Washington Avenue, long ways, do 39th. All these people know me because I walk by their house every day. And it is a great neighborhood. We don't have sidewalks. So we take our life in our own hands every day when we walk anyway. And then now you're going to put, and what we were told was 91 homes or apartments first, and then 41 homes later is what one of the people on 39th had been told, and he told me about it. So that is, if you just put one car per apartment, it's going to be horrendous down there. And then you got to think about, you know, we've already just recently had a sewer issue on the circle. And I noticed the city was back there today and 2 or 3 more trucks down in the middle of the circle. So if you're going to add that many more apartments, you know, you've already got a problem coming down there and something's going on with the sewer system. You're just really going to add to more of it. And I just hate to see, you know, the chance of the vandalism and all the things that's going to maybe happen when you start renting to low income people. And I'm not against anybody low income because there's a lot of us out there. It's just that somebody's got to control that. And you see what's happened over on 29th Street with the Jones addition. I mean, and I know that's what Johnetta was going to talk about tonight if she'd made it, was because when she lived in Broadview, when they put in the Jones addition, she lived in Broadview. And she said they loved their home and their parents loved their home. But once that went in, then the stealing and the vandalism began. And we've just got a great place to live in our, you know, even I mean, I know most of these people on 39th because I'm by there every day, and I hate to see them have to deal with it. And Sheila Brown couldn't be here this evening, and I'm kind of representing her. She's sick, but she has a home on 39th and limestone home, and she's a single lady, and she's scared to death what's about to happen because, you know, being a single lady living there, and we're going to have that much more traffic and, you know, a lot more people. And I don't see how anybody's going to be able to get out. I know one of the people mentioned, I think John did, how anybody is going to be able to get off of 39th onto 37. It's so hard now. If you come there, I don't know how many of you probably don't have to use that road, but when you try to go there, those cars are coming up that hill and they don't get over. So people get tired of waiting and they go. And it's just as bad when you go up to 35th Street because a lot of people go up there so they can maybe get out without that, but there's no stoplight. There's accidents there all the time. So anyway, I just want to really reiterate what John said. He's our president of the circle, and we just really would not like to see this happen. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir. Take him first, and then I'll get you, sir.
My name's Ken Turner. I live at 3920
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
My name is Kent Turner,
Okay, Pat.
3920 Washington Avenue. One thing that hadn't been mentioned yet, I'm concerned about the sewage lift stations. You have one across from Hillcrest Circle. The sewage runs down to that, and then they pump it back up. Another one's right at 39th Street, Christian Church. It's right there on the corner. Another lift station. I know they're just preliminary studying their sewage problem, but somebody is going to have to be careful to make sure that you'll handle that volume, or somebody's going to have to build another lift station, I would think. That's all I wanted to add to it. Other than fact, it'd be wonderful to have sidewalks because I live on the east side of 30 Washington Avenue, and my property floods I've tried to put drain pipes into stuff and been fighting it for years. If you add anything that could possibly cause more flooding, it's gonna affect homeowners. Anyway, the sewage thing is my thing I'd like to add mostly. Thank you.
Thank you. And this gentleman back here,
I know everybody has concerns over the water and the sewer, and I should have said this early on. He is very aware that his water and his sewer, that's from the easements, will have to come from industrial. It will not, and Misty is here to reiterate that. So everything that, all his supply will come from industrial on his water, and all the sanitation will have to go back to industrial. I know all his stormwater is gonna have to go that direction. So those are items that I've discussed with him, and he understands this preliminary stuff right here. I should just mention that early, that would have satisfied some questions people had.
My name is Kenny McCann. I live at 2409 39th Street, right there in front of them. I have one question I'd like to ask Brian before I go any further.
you would like,
I have one question I'd like to ask Brian if I could.
okay, what's your question?
Where are you gonna put the roads down through there? I didn't look, I didn't see it. So what I'm saying, that field beside me, are you going to,
We have been, sir,
yeah,
that's what we're asking for, is we want the complete plans. And they will have to meet specs. Is that going to mess up your conversation?
Well, I think to the limestone company and Mr. McCann here, our setbacks are way more than
Brian,
they're
could
supposed
you
to
give
be.
us just a minute? You've covered up, no, Brian, I want you to cover up the microphone.
Sorry. Yeah, even in the back of your property here, we have went way past what we need to.
what about now? You got a bunch of trees on the side. You be taking them out of there?
That's right here.
Are they gonna be taken out?
Those trees
Yeah.
on our property?
Yeah.
More than likely.
Cause they give us good shade on one side and my state's close to the fence and then close to the house. Like the other day, we were mowing and, for 30 years, I mowed on this side of the trees for Todd. So you were mowing down through here, I heard something hit, so I walked out and debris hit my window and then, my air conditioner unit out there. So anytime I ever mowed it, I always mowed this way towards the road. I never shot the chute towards my house or anything like that. But you know, that's
If
the
that
problem.
did happen, I'm sorry.
Well, if I can talk that over with you, but
But if you can see, at this point, we've cleaned that place up a time.
oh yeah.
And them things will go away. So, like I said, you can see everywhere, even on the other side, Mr. Wagner, we have set back way from him. Limestone Company, we have plenty of setback from him,
And the road's gonna go down through here.
right here. Only thing I asked to do, there again, this is preliminary, is I asked them to take this and scoot that back this way, away from you a little bit.
Okay.
Because I felt like that was a little too close.
And the road's gonna be where them trees are.
Similar, it'll probably be away from the trees just a touch.
There are so many feet this road cannot be put down through there.
Yes, there's state, or there's city requirements as to how wide things have to be, yes.
I don't know what their width is or anything like that, but between my house and the next house, when the other man owned it, he wanted to put a garage or a road down through there and put two houses behind me. He couldn't put the road down through there, the driveway, because my carport and stuff was too close to that house. Now, if they're not within a limit here, that's why I wanted to know what the limit is on that, you know?
Is it 24? Kevin, is it 24 feet?
Our roadway?
Uh-huh.
I believe that's.
From the property line, how far is it gotta be?
28 feet distance.
We're not gonna put a one-lane gravel road down there. It'll have to be with city specs.
Mhm.
That's why we have an engineer that does that. That's why we have a city inspector to make sure everything is coded.
Okay, that's enough for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Brian, I have a question for you. Do your plans include sidewalks?
They do here, yes.
Okay, in front of all your,
Yes, they do.
okay,
And there'll be a handicap place, this property lays very nice. Runs about a 2.25% slope from the front to the back. So everything should be nice and level, no steps, no second stories. Just, like I said, that's our goal there, is just to keep everything on the same plane.
Do you have a approximate amount that you're going to charge rent on these?
I don't know if that's been nailed down yet. I can tell you, I think most places is probably between 900 and 1,000 a month right now, if you was to compare to the other places for this type of.
So this is not going to be subsidized and be low income?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just to clear my mind on that.
No.
Okay.
No, it will not just be straight
Okay.
Section 8. Absolutely not.
Thank you.
And like I said, to a lot of these questions I'm hearing, the front of our property is 2 foot lower to 4 foot lower than Hillcrest Circle. And our property is 7 feet lower in the back than it is the front. So there's absolutely no chance of any stormwater whatsoever.
The water's gonna run north, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, if it gets to Hillcrest Circle, we got problems. Our property sits lower than Washington Avenue. So there again, if it gets to Washington Avenue, we got problems. City, I've done that with the city utilities. We got a tentative plan to get to Industrial Drive. We got a tentative plan on what we need for fire hydrants. And like I said, we do have an owner that's been very generous and working with us at this point. So,
Is the only way in and out of this off 39th Street?
yes.
Okay.
There'll be two entrances exit off 39.
Anyone else wish to speak about this, one way or the other? Yes, I'll come back.
Lane Majors again, Pine Street. And I understand Brian and everybody's explaining the infrastructure. There's not much you can't fix with infrastructure. Put a little money at it, we can get it fixed. Our biggest concern is the environment of that neighborhood. My family has been there 60 years. And this is not in line with that neighborhood. It'd be like building a Walmart right in the middle of 39th Street.
I promise you won't do that.
Yeah, right. I got you. Listen, there's a multitude of open vacant land where this type of a project would be more appropriate. And I think one of the other speakers said it would be completely different, probably, in my mind, if it were single family houses. 6 or 7 homes in there, nice upscale homes, that would fit in right with our property. And I'm assuming the city's view of the neighborhood. I think that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, infrastructure, I agree with Brian. You can fix anything. Drainage, water, and utilities and all that stuff. We know that you can fix that. I just don't think it's an appropriate project for that community. And I would ask the board to please postpone any type of voting until we can mobilize the local area a little better and find out some more information.
Hello, I'm Janita Norris,
Mhm.
and I just want to say, Kevin, can you tell them right now, what it's zoned at, what all we can do without having to go through all this?
As the board has in front of them, you can see currently, we have a light manufacturing facility, a manufacturing facility, offices, auto body shop, and painting, trucking, says railroad, I don't think we're getting railroad down there. Open supply yard, and then the essential services and accessory uses. Those are the ones that are currently could go there without any approval from this board at all. There are some special exceptions that would require the board's approval.
I just wanted to kind of point that out, that it's not like set as single family homes, it's already industrial. We could do a lot of things there without having to go through and try to get it, do the right things. And we're trying to make Bedford a nice, safe place. We have no intentions of bringing a ghetto to our city. I've lived here my whole life. My family's lived here our whole life. And we take pride in anything that we do. And if it's done and it's passed, it will be done right. You would want your family to live there. You know, there's not enough housing in Bedford, and they are struggling to find good places to send good people. And I just feel like it's kind of discriminatory to say, well, they're going to steal and they're going to do this. You don't know who's going to move in there. How is that fair? Nobody said that when they moved into the addition, and when they bought their homes, nobody judged them. So we need to think about, if it's done right with your supervision, anything that Brian has ever done has been to the best of his ability. He's going to make sure it's done properly. I know there's other people that's very capable of making sure that this is done and not disturb any of the neighborhood. So I just wanted to point out what we could do without permission, with it, you know, because one of the neighbors said that he's already ran off storage facilities. He's threatened my husband with a gun. And, you know, I'm just tired of being bullied. When we did, all we did was bought property that was vacant. Anybody else could have bought it. We were very thankful that we received it and we bought it. And we would just like a fair chance to prove that it would be an asset to our community. There's not enough nice home living around in our community. There's very few nice places to have a townhouse where if somebody's a widow or somebody that, you know, needs someplace safe to live. You're right by a church. You're close to groceries. You're close to being able to get places that you need to go. So we have no intentions of bringing a ghetto to Bedford. We want to bring something classy, something that people could be proud to live in, that would just be an asset, maybe find them a walking buddy. You know, there's, you know, not everybody's bad. And I don't know how you can sit there and say that that's being unfair. You know, you don't know who's living there. We're not bringing in people from other places. But people in Bedford need nice homes to live in. And I don't feel like it's their place to say that it's going to be done distastefully. I appreciate all your time. If you have any questions, we're very happy to answer them, but we're going to do it with class and we're going to do it with respect. And it's a place that I would like my mother to live. If my grandmother was still alive, I would be proud to let her live there. I'm not going to do anything and put my name on it that's going to be not to the best of its ability. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have one more comment. I have lived here since, Becky, right? I've lived here since 1992. I've lived in various places around the city. We chose, after saving for 20 years, we chose the southern part of Bedford because of the character of the neighborhood. I've lived in apartments. I started out in, I think it's Ridgecrest, out behind Lowe's. Moved to R Street. I've lived in various places. The character of the neighborhood, the neighbors, we're not bullying anybody. We're just simply wanting to keep this. I also, for almost 2.5 years, lived in the Ted Jones Drive apartments in 1993 to 95. And they were nice. They were nice back then. I think my apartment, I was the first one to live in it. So it was very nice when I got it and when I left it. And I've watched it deteriorate. And I've watched it not be maintained.
Which apartment?
I was in apartment C on the very first unit as you drive. Ted Jones Drive.
Where?
Ted Jones Drive Apartments
Across from the bowling alley.
on 29th Street.
If you will look, the city has filed suit against the owners of that because of the condition of those. And so the city is on top of this, making sure that the properties are maintained. And I would agree with you that there are problems there. The city is well aware of this, and there is a suit against the owners presently. And I think that the hearing will be in March of 2026, I think is what I read today. So that's going to be taken care of.
I'm glad to hear that because I lived there over 30 years ago and it's only gradually declined and people have been living with it for decades. And I've also noticed the townhouses on 5th Street that aren't necessarily well maintained. So I'm curious, I know, I'm curious how this, when you're looking down the road a couple decades, how do these things get maintained when you're having people who are not investing in the neighborhood or the community full-time like the majority of people are? But thank you for listening, I appreciate it. I just wanted you to know, I've invested my life in over 30 years.
All right, have you had anything from the letters that you sent?
No, I mean, I had a meeting with a couple of people.
But you have nothing in writing from anyone?
Nothing, no, nothing in writing, nothing in.
Nothing in writing?
We've spoken with about that.
All right, commission members, do you have anything to say? I think I have a question, Mr. Chairman. I see this plot, and right here right on 39th Street, it appears there's at least two houses, one with a swimming pool. I can't tell just from the top view what this third one is, if that's a house or a barn, shed, or whatever. And I'm curious, the owners of those, it's kind of carved out.
Two of them are here, sir.
And it shows up on Mr. Norris' preliminary plan also. Who does that belong to?
Me.
That's yours. Okay, sir.
What do you need?
Well, I was just curious. And I didn't know that's where you were. I thought if that was me and I was in that and it was going to be built around me, I'd be here one way or the other, and you have been. So, okay. That answers my question.
I own the property where the house is, and I have a lot right next to the house, next to Mr. Norris's recently purchased property.
So you have the house with the pool?
No, that's Greg Indris.
Oh, okay.
That owns the pool.
Oh, this little lot here is what you have this house. There's kind of like a little carve out right there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little
okay.
too far in.
Gotcha.
I own all the trees and all that right there. But yeah, this is Greg Indris.
Okay. And you have
And
this
he's out of town, or he'd be here. Just one more thing. Mrs. Norris making a case about good people coming in to these apartments. I've lived, before I moved to Bedford, I've lived all over this country because of my job. You can't predict who is going to rent these apartments at any time. Kevin, I think your father was in real estate, wasn't he?
No.
Steve Jones?
Not my father.
Oh,
Not related to him, not related to Tim Jones that owns South Lee Terrace.
okay, just wondering. Bobby
Say that
Jones.
publicly?
I see your point and yeah. But you can't predict who's coming in. And like I said, I've lived in a lot of places. I've lived from New York to LA, on all points in between, Chicago to Florida. You can't predict what's going to be happening, like Mrs. Norris is trying to hope, with a lot of hope, and I respect her for that, what their project's going to turn into. I've seen great projects with great intentions turn into total chaos, crime, violence, theft, and like the other people that is against this as it stands, it's going to destroy this neighborhood that's been there since before it was in the city limits. My stepfather, Maurice Lewis, owned most of, and his brother, Irma Lewis, owned most of that property at one time when it was still gravel roads. And some of those houses are still standing and they're still in great shape. This neighborhood is not a neighborhood that should be sold just for the sake of money, and just with good intentions. The people that's lived here, like I've said before, a lot of people, these people have been here for a long time, years. And you've got to consider them and their families. Now, housing is needed, but you cannot put a whale in a fish tank. This is a small area. Oh, there's like around 6 acres that Mr. Norris bought, but there's a lot of more important things at stake with the people of this community. We pay our taxes. We would appreciate consideration for our well-beings and our lives. Please consider this very carefully. I think I speak for everybody that's been speaking against this today. So please consider this very, very, very carefully. These are people's lives. So thank you.
I have a question. When they go to sell one of their homes, if somebody decides to sell a home, do they have to go around and ask each person who's gonna buy it?
Okay, now folks, we're getting into some things here that are really not germane to what we're speaking about. We can't predict who's gonna live there and so on, so we're not gonna fuss about that at all. I'm not gonna let you do that. Yes, have you signed in?
No.
You need to sign in and come forward.
I asked a question while they're signing in. I'm already
Okay,
signed in.
I really think everyone has had a chance to speak. We've heard from you. I'll hear from new people, not from old people, because we get into, I don't mean at your age, I mean previous speakers, because it's easy in a thing like this for you to come out, oh, I should have said so and so. We've heard from you. And we're not gonna be here all night, listen to you back and forth, okay? I just wanna be fair with you, but we've heard from you and we'll hear from someone else, but if you've already spoken, thank you. Yes.
Hi.
Right over here, please.
Bobette Majors. I live at 2418 39th Street, so straight across from the property.
Uh-huh.
Also own 2410 39th Street. We bought and my son lives there.
Okay.
He's going to be purchasing it from us. So my husband has lived there since he was a little bitty boy. I've been there for 25 years and raised 4 children there. It's very much I don't know how to say it. It's just a close-knit community where the same people have been there for a long time. Like the home that we bought was my neighbor's. She'd been there for 60 plus years. She was family to us. When she went to sell her home, she didn't want to sell it to anyone besides family, so we bought it with the intentions of either our daughter or our son living there. She actually moved next door to her mother and father-in-law's house. And since they passed away, their family's actually taken over.
So you lived there a long time. Your family's lived there a long time. So what? I don't mean that hatefully, but what is your point about us doing this or not doing this? And I don't mean to upset you at all. So we hate to see the old home place change, don't we?
It's not just that. It wouldn't be a home anymore. It'd be completely different.
Right.
I know myself. We've talked about if it goes in, we don't want to stay. My son won't stay. We're family. We know everybody here. A lot of people have handed their houses down to their family. It's just, we're very close. It's very small and everybody really likes that. It's safe and predictable. Yeah, we're all family. We have a huge garden. We try to share with everybody in the neighborhood. We're all very close, If someone has a problem, we know we could go to anybody. And I just feel like it just changes the whole infrastructure with just adding lots of people. And with apartments, people are going to come and go, And it just takes away the safeness, for my children. and my, you know, and for our neighbors, because we do have a lot of elderly neighbors. We have neighbors that are older that have handed their houses down to their grandchildren because all these people, we've been here for so long together. So I think it would just be damaging, you know. A lot of people we've talked to, I mean, they would want to stay. It would just completely change it all. Right now, I can walk up and down the road and I know everybody that's on it. I feel safe, you know. My kids up and down it. We know everybody on the circle. And I just feel like adding this huge, you know, apartment building. I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice or that there would be terrible people or this or that, but I mean, people are going to come and go. And with adding that many apartments, there is, you know, issues with crime and people doing things they shouldn't be doing. No one can control that.
Right, right.
So I just really want you to consider that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Gwen Norman, and in 1980,
And you live where?
I don't live in the neighborhood, but I used to
So
own this.
you do not live in this neighborhood,
I used to own the stone mill.
but you do not live in the neighborhood?
but
Okay, thank you. That's
yeah,
what we need to
Yeah,
know that.
I don't live in the neighborhood.
Okay,
But my husband and I bought that stone mill in 1990. And until he passed away in 2021, he sold it early on. And through those years, we had a very big business. I don't think the man that owns it now is as busy as what my husband was. But the point is, that neighborhood has always had semis pulling in. Just tonight, when I went through there was a semi there loading stone. They talk about walking, and they have these different things going on, but there's semis in and out of there all the time. And there's children at risk with that stone mill. And so,
folks, please now, folks, let her talk. We didn't let you be interrupted. Do not interrupt her.
and so what I'm saying is, if you've had that stone mill there for 30 years or 40 years or however long you've lived there, and you've dealt with that stone mill, which I owned and we took pride in, just like I'm sure he does, but you shouldn't want to stop progress when you're saying, oh, I'm worried about my home, when there's semis coming in and out and backing right out into their, the street's narrow, and there's semis coming in there, they're loading the stone, there's stone dust, there's noise. So it's not like it's that quiet of a neighborhood.
I think you and I are old enough to remember that house on the corner was a rooming house. And there were some.
And there's there's rental property right across the street. It's not all owned. So they have rental people that's renting the property, and they've met them and they've got along. All I'm saying is, why can't you, and this isn't gonna happen in 6 months or 3 years. This is a period of time.
Right.
And, you know, so that's what I'm saying. It's a stone mill, and there's a church, and it's very active. It's not that peaceful, and there is other rental property on that street.
I really believe it's peaceful down there. I don't think the police is in there too often. Okay, I think we've heard from you folks. We've given you an opportunity to speak. We know what you've said. We know your feelings, and we appreciate that. Now I think it's time for us to have any discussion that we have.
Travis, you said you're working on a plan for the,
Yeah, to start working on
do you have a time frame on what that would be?
Probably looking at 30 days.
So we have the opportunity to approve, disapprove, or to table.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, obviously, the neighborhood does not want this complex in their area. And we have traditionally given significant weight to the neighbors in the area. Mrs. Norris has a very valid point that it's already zoned I-2. An office building could go up in there a series of office buildings, and we wouldn't even all be here. I did some quick math with these plans at some 79 units, at 3 or 4 people per unit. That comes to around 300 people that would be coming in there. If this was an office complex, a shopping, whatever that might be, it could be an auto body shop. Specifically, it says it could. So while I hear the concerns, that doesn't bother me as much as these very preliminary plans. Every time we have had some larger addition or construction going on, we have had a lot of plans that we could look and see where are the sidewalks. I see parking spots and it looks like there's enough for the people, but we would have plans where we see the distances between these various buildings, and there's several of them in here. The question came up about the roads and the width of those roads. I'd like to see those plans, the street lights, the fire hydrants, the sidewalks, all of these things that if the city is taking this over eventually, as they usually do in these additions, that we would have addressed early on. And I don't see that at this point. That's not enough for me to rail against it, but I'm not comfortable with what I have in front of me to be able to move this ahead at this point. I would like to have more information.
I concur with Steve. I mean, we've always had more information. That's why I asked the question, if you were working with anyone. And I guess you already asked the question on the time frame. So at this point, if no one else has a statement or anything, I'd make a motion to table until next month's meeting.
Or until we get the information.
Yeah, whichever comes first.
Are you agreeable with that as a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is that we table this until we get either till next month, or we get the plans that are necessary for us to move forward with this, okay? So that is the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that one.
We have a second to that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes, so we will wait until we have more information before. The comments that have been made are valuable to us in this. I think not only your concerns about who would be there. I had a house sell across the street from me a couple of years ago, and I didn't know who was moving in, but I like her pretty well. And and I hope that there have some kids there that your kids can join and have fun with. If this happens, I don't know what we'll do with it. We want more information. So we passed that we're going to table this until we get more information, more complete information as to what we're going to do. Okay? So we'll move on to the next item of business, which is someplace here. That's the minutes for my paper. Thank you. So the next item of business is a public hearing for Cole Sinclair to do a minor subdivision on the northwest corner of John Williams Boulevard and Bellback Road. Is Cole Sinclair here? Travis is here. You want to talk to us?
I'm Travis Norman representing Cole Sinclair. He's looking to do a minor subdivision on this property there at the northeast corner of Bellback and John Williams Boulevard.
Folks, excuse me, we have to hear this next presentation, so take it outside, please. Or
thank you. Go ahead, Travis.
So he's looking to do a minor subdivision here and split this into some lots. Last time we were here, we were also part of that plat going to vacate a drainage easement. We are not asking to vacate that drainage easement anymore. If you look on the new drawing, we're actually going to move it and center it better on now where we know where the cave is. We can center it more and keep that easement in place. So where the old easement wasn't quite centered to where the cave opening was, where it went through the retention pond. So we don't want to vacate it anymore. We actually, with this plat, want to move it and center it more to where we know the cave is due to our, we've done a lot of studies now, so we know exactly what's going on here. So we're not wanting to vacate, we're actually wanting to make it wider. Instead of 100 foot, we're wanting to make it 132 feet wide.
For the easement?
For the easement, yeah.
Would
So-
that be a legal easement made at that?
So if this plat was approved tonight, that would be the new permanent easement for that location. And it actually fits the cavern better than what the old easement was when Tom Miller did the geoflow plat. Yeah. So that will be part of this minor sub. We're still splitting the property up into tracts, but I just wanted to make you aware that we're not looking to vacate it, but we do want to move it. And if you can see the 2 dashed lines on each side of the existing drainage pond, that centers it perfectly up on where the opening comes out of the cave. Because what happens here is on the east side of this property by Williams Park Drive, it goes through a ditch and comes to a cave opening, goes in the cave, comes up somehow, and then empties across this property. And then flows over to all these. Yeah, there's the drawing. So the 2 dashed lines, that's where the new easement will be. Originally, the easement was down in here. We're shifting it to the north to where that is.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is what we're talking about.
That's correct. Yeah. So the original easement is down in here. So we're wanting to shift it north to center it more on where that comes out of the cave to make sure we capture this area and make sure it's protected.
Where's the cave?
The cave opening is here
Okay.
on this other property, and it comes out right there. So it basically does, we don't know what it does down in the cave, but somehow it comes up and then just spills out into this property.
There's a lot of work already taking place right here on this property.
That's correct. Yeah.
Is that interfering with any of that?
It's not. I've been in talk with Doug and Misty on what's happening on that property. So we're going to conserve that area also to keep that cave opening not disturbed. If you notice, there's still trees and stuff there. We're keeping it like a conservancy area for that.
Have you, is this the engineering plans show how they're gonna handle the stormwater?
This is the plan that Travis has given me.
Yeah.
And I sent it to Misty Adams, Utilities today, and she's here to look at it. I'm not sure how much she's had a chance to look at it, but that's why I asked her to be here today, because I knew everybody had concerns. Yeah, I have concerns. But I have to defer to her because I don't know much about stormwater.
Yeah, I mean, we have concerns that it needs to remain the way it is for the flow of what we have there. And I don't know what shifting that, what will that do, Travis?
It actually will benefit us because when we platted it originally for Tom Miller, we had the easement too far south. So in our studies now, it's seeing how that water flows. We need to shift it north to center it more on that, because where it's at right now will not protect the opening as much. So it's like right on the edge of that opening where it flows across Cole's property. So shifting it will benefit the city and everyone involved. They'll just center it up and give us an extra area to protect.
That's a problem area.
Yeah, for sure.
With stormwater. And that acts as a little bit of a retention per se before it goes and then gets over to Bundy Lane. Bundy Lane does flood. There's a lot of flooding in that area already. So it is a concern that this stays the way it is. There's no disturbance to this.
And that's why we want to shift it to center it more.
So I want to be clear, when you say shifted, are you adding to or modifying?
We're actually modifying because the way it was originally with Tom, it was too far south. So it almost didn't catch the opening of the cave where it comes into this property.
So nearest John Williams Boulevard, that would still be vacated.
That's correct, because it's up on a hill, so it really didn't need to be part of it. It falls off 20 feet down to where that cave opening is where it comes out. So the reason for shifting it is that easement wasn't really needed because it's up on high ground. It needs to be down in that lower area to protect that down there.
Misty, how do you feel about that?
What would you be using the high area for?
Well, right now, the engineer that's designing this for Cole, I'm not involved. So they're looking at this property and they're not for sure if it's even gonna be feasible to do anything here. Just because it falls off so drastically from John Williams Drive or Boulevard. So we're not for sure what will happen. And there's not enough room on top to even do a development. By the time it falls off, you've only got like 75 feet from the right of way.
Is
So
this
if any,
easement state, Travis?
yes, that will be, if this plat's approved today, that will be the permanent easement.
But I mean, is it already preliminary staked out there or no?
It is.
What you're asking?
Yes.
So we can go look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
I haven't been out there today.
So again, so you'll be clear, he's moving the easement that is nearest John Williams Boulevard. That's in the previous, maps.
Right.
And actually vacating that area per se. I mean, that's
You're
what
right.
you're really doing. You're
Yep.
vacating that we originally have and just moving it, to the north.
Yeah. And it fits the opening better. Because where it comes up in the cave and it flows out in this property is not centered on the easement as it sits right now. Right now, the very north edge of it is right on the opening. So by shifting it north, you take out that high ground that really doesn't need a drainage easement and it shifts it into that lower area. So if it is developed, they have to honor that drainage easement. So they've got to come up with a plan to make sure all that volume of water can get through there no matter what they do at that point. But that property will be a hard develop. I mean, it's not going to be easy to do, for sure.
This.
Yes, correct. Because that catches all the runoff pretty much from GeoFlow. It catches all the runoff from what we're doing to the east of it. It catches everything from the new roundabout west. It catches everything from Walmart. As we've done the study, there's 3 pipes that come into the other property we're going to talk about tonight. It comes from the retention pond at Walmart. And then there's 2 24-inch pipes that come from John Williams Boulevard for all the curb inlets and different things.
All I ever envision is like what you see on TV all the time now. I think communities have let builders build and developers build where over the past we would never let anyone build, and now the road collapses when the storm water washes out the terrain underneath.
And that's the whole reason for moving this thing, to make sure we protect that area. Because right now, if we leave it like it is, it won't be protected. All we're doing at that point is protecting the high ground where that entrance is that comes off John Williams. If we shift it forward, it's going to protect that area for sure.
So you told us it's probably the probability of actually developing that area where the easement actually is now is very low that they would ever do that.
Just the infrastructure cost would be astronomical.
I was hoping that you would just move the entire easement from the road all the way back to where you're at now instead of just taking a portion of it and moving it.
Yeah, well, we're moving the whole easement and we're actually making it wider. Because originally it went from the right of way of John Williams and we only went 75 feet with it. And that just barely caught the opening. By shifting it all to the north, now it catches all that low area. And it catches where that existing drainage pond is, where all that water goes into. Yeah.
And like you said, you don't know where it goes from there, right?
Well, once it goes into that retention pond, it goes across Bellback and it only goes through a 12-inch pipe. So you think about all the volume of water that's coming through there. The cave itself that sits underneath this is holding all this water like a retention pond. You know what it does? I don't know. Never been in there, but it basically raises up and releases like a weir wall and then goes across this property. And then it funnels into a 12-inch pipe that goes across to Aldi's from there.
So my question is this an all or nothing? I mean, if we say we want to maintain the easement that we have for drainage, they still don't want to do the subdivision or what, you know?
Well, this minor plat, you're subdividing the property. At the end of the day, they've got to come before you guys with a set of plans. If they decide to develop that, they've got to come before you guys and say, hey, this is what we plan to do in here. Will it satisfy your needs? The drainage easement's there, so they can't get away from it if this plan's approved. They have to honor that drainage easement in that location. So they'll come to you guys with a plan and say, hey, here's our plan. You know, we're going to put in 2 60-inch culverts and fill it up with dirt. At that point, it's up to you guys to approve it or deny it. Is it sufficient enough to hold all that water in that location? The benefit of having this easement is it protects you guys down the road. So if anything goes forward with planning, they have to honor it. They have to respect that water that's coming into it.
Travis, is that an actual cave or is it a sinkhole or do you know?
It's a great question. I pulled up maps from IU Geological and they show some veins going out. And it's actually a pretty good sized vein system, believe it or not, that goes out. But where it goes, no one's ever really been inside of it to explore it to know. But there is a lot of fingers that go out from it that holds the water for it.
And Kevin, for you, what is this parcel that we are being requested to split off into two parcels? What's that zone right now?
That parcel is B3.
A B3.
Everything else around it's I2 or I1, I can't remember. That one particularly is B3 and that was done years ago.
So moving from memory, and I could look it up, but B3, if it was going to be a business in there, if we would subdivide this, there could be two businesses go in, and we wouldn't have any kind of a look at it as far as drainage for that kind of thing. That to know it was going in there, the very thing I hit the Norrises with, we wouldn't see the plans to the depth that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But
not.
Misty, you'd be involved in that at that point, right?
They would have to get a Rule 5, or what they call it now, a general permit for stormwater.
Yeah.
And I agree in that south corner there. I don't know that it's going to end up being large enough to really do much with, so.
Right. And we did make that lot bigger to 3.25 acres, but still, it's just a tough build. It falls off so much from John Williams Boulevard.
It's
And
more of an interest, if I'm not mistaken, to do that north part of track 2
right.
is what they wish to use for development.
Yeah, later down the road. Well, basically, the whole north end of this property is just power lines. I mean, it's useless. But from that wood line back to where the north line of this southern track will be, that would be a decent buildable track for something. This track 2 that's right there where we're talking about where the easement is, that will be a tough build. There's no doubt about it.
That's pretty gnarly in there.
It is.
I
It is.
drove down there and looked the other day just from Bellback, and
Yeah.
I didn't park and go to look at a cave or a sinkhole or
Right.
whatever we've got
Yeah.
there.
And you can see the opening on the other side of this development. You can walk back there and see it. I mean, it's got rocks piled up around it and it's protected. So I don't want to jump ahead, but the next project we're going to look at, that area will be protected. So like the opening of the cave itself will have a big riprap wall berm around it to keep sediment from going in it,
Okay.
different things like that to protect it. And whoever develops what we're looking at here for coal, they'll have to put a very elaborate plan together and go through Misty. They'll have to go through Kevin before they can get it approved to make sure it'll, withstand what they're wanting to do there.
Misty, are you happy with this or do you want to study this first?
I would like to see the markings of the easement, and do a little bit more research on it, because I had met with Travis, but we hadn't talked about shifting the easement or any of that, I think,
Yeah.
beforehand, so.
Yeah.
It's a very sensitive area, it's a lot of flooding, and I sure don't want to do anything to cause more problems there.
Yeah. I think that's wise. So they can see the easement and I can kind of show them what I've found as far as my studies go. To make sure.
We
they're
don't
happy
know
with it.
really what happens to that water. I mean, it's weird how it goes. It
It does.
disappears and then it comes up. And I hate to ask for rain, but sometimes it's nice to see it raining
Yeah.
and see exactly what it does.
And the last rain we had, I went down there and I watched it and seen what happened. I mean, within a matter of 30 minutes, that water started bubbling up and flowing on to this property and just started coming out. But it took it 30 minutes to come up. So whatever it's doing down in there, it's
Yeah.
filling up and holding it
Yeah.
somewhere. I just
So we're
don't know
getting some
where.
retention out of it,
Yeah.
which is what we need.
Yeah, and when Walmart developed, this was part of Walmart's property. When they did this, and Walmart did an in-depth study, and I was able to talk to their engineers, which is Horn Properties out of Tennessee, and they actually had some geotechnical work that they shared with me, and we was able to figure out kind of what they were seeing from a drainage analysis. But that was back in the 90s, and how much more development has happened in that area since then. You had Walmart, and we had John Williams Boulevard, and we've had all that development to the east of there also.
So again, I think we're at the point that we can either deny, accept, or table.
I'll jump in there and make a motion to table until, the city has had enough time to investigate and look at the drainage possibilities.
Have a motion? Could I wait to get a second before you comment?
I will second that.
Okay, all right.
With
We
a
have second
comment,
now.
if I may. We tabled this a month ago to get Misty involved, and it sounds like, I hate to hold Mr. Sinclair up on it, but by the same token, we gotta get this right.
Right.
There's just a
Well-
lot that could go wrong, and I'd rather the experts come back to us and say, here's what's gonna happen, that we can figure out at even the 95% level.
Yeah. And trust me, and I don't want to hold it up either, but I want to make the city comfortable with what we're doing.
We
At
want
the
to
end
be
of the day.
comfortable with it. too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and
we have a
until
motion.
yesterday, we didn't really realize where the easement even was as far as staking it or anything like
Yeah.
that. So I had no idea that it was offset from the cave or any of that, so.
Yeah.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. So we've tabled that again. All right, now we're getting into new business. Yes, I want the record to show that Craig abstained in voting on that. He has an invested interest in it. First item of new business is a preliminary hearing for Victoria Baker is requesting a special exception use in PR district at 512 Peach Street for the purpose of operating a retail store. An antique mall at this location requests approval of planning commission be heard by the zoning board. And I think Victoria,
I'm here.
hey, how are you?
I'm already,
This is the old gym, right?
yes.
Okay,
So we've made it through the rezoning for the studio, and we rezoned it to a professional, what is the zoning, Kevin, that we?
Professional residential.
Professional residential, which accounts for the studios that I wanted. But now what I'd like to do is request permission to put in a retail space for the antique mall.
okay. Now, do we have to go, any questions from her? Okay, do we have to go to the zoning board next?
It does.
Okay, so we need to decide, are we going to send this to the zoning board? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion to send it to the zoning board,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Any comment on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes. And with the, so there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Now, to expedite the people who've had to sit here for a long time, we're going to move item 5 under the new business to become item 2. So this is a preliminary hearing for James McCombs, who's requesting a minor subdivision at 2801 North-South 4 Farm Road into 2 parcels. One parcel will be 1.812 acres, the other parcel 0.665 acres, which would be 26,661 square feet. The property is zoned R1. Yes, sir.
Yes, I am James McCombs. I live 2801 North South 4 Farm Road. And I'm just wanting to divide this so that with the lack of land around here so that my son could build a home next door, take care of his old parents.
I think I know where there's going to be a subdivision for 1 minute.
Just as a matter of reference, how
Yeah.
close is this to White's Point?
White's Point, this is you have to go past White's Point and it's the first road on the right. You go up the hill and we're one house from the Hidden Acres Drive, which is almost.
I live in White's Point. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
this wasn't a conflict.
Well,
with
we
me.
built a new home on this property 7 years ago.
Okay.
And we built to one end of the property and we're wanting to put him on the other end. We're almost there to the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, we're real close to the airport. I watched the airplane land.
Are you getting the big area or?
Yeah, the house is on the big
Okay,
area
all right.
and we're wanting to build a 1,400 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath home on that property for our son.
Anyone else have a question for him? So we would send this to a public hearing. Thank you. you have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion to send this to a public hearing in our next meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that one.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, or anyone opposed, say no. See you next month.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Now we go to item number 2, which is item number 3. A public hearing for Kenny Blackwell. Is this a public hearing for him?
It is because it's a major subdivision.
Okay. Public hearing for Kenny Blackwell, who requests a major subdivision, track 3 of the Bedford Development Minor Subdivision plat located in Williams Park Drive and John Williams Boulevard. The parcel is 5.66 acres, and they request to subdivide it into 6 lots. The property is zoned I-2. Mr. Blackwell, are you here? Are you here, Mr. Blackwell? Okay, let us find what we're talking about here,
Okay.
Travis.
This is the big drawing of it here also.
Okay,
This, yeah.
okay, go with it, sir.
Yeah, so Kenny Blackwell Development out of Bloomington, Indiana. He's looking to do a 6-lot major subdivision. It'll be a commercial subdivision there in the northwest quadrant of Williams Park and John Williams Boulevard. If you have the plan in front of you, we'll have 5 commercial lots to sell. They'll range in size from 79 hundredths of an acre all the way up to 1.37 acres. The 6th lot is where the cave opening is. That will be set aside as a drainage easement area, and it'll be protected in that area. We are proposing a 500-foot new roadway to be put in with a cul-de-sac in the middle for emergency vehicles to turn around in and get back out. The grading on this site will be very minimal, just due to the terrain of it. We'll be able to grade it fairly easy. There won't be a lot of mass dirt moving. The only area we will have a lot of dirt put in, fill, is there's a big ditch there, right there in the northwest quadrant, and you can kind of see it from the highway or from John Williams now. We have talked with Misty and Doug. We are looking to extend, there's an existing head wall there now. We're looking to take those 3 pipes and extend them west over to within 75 feet of the cave opening where that drainage easement is, and we're going to fill that area in. So we're just basically taking the existing pipes that are there and extending them west to the cave opening within 75 feet of the cave opening. That way we can fill that area in, dress it up, and make it a buildable lot there. There will also still be a drainage easement on those pipes. So when we plat this, we will have a 30-foot easement on the center of the pipe. So where the center of the pipe is, it'll be 30 foot wide for a drainage easement. So that area is always protected. If the city needs to get in there and work on the pipes or anything, it will be part of this plat. But that will be our biggest area where we'll be putting fill in to fill that big ditch up.
So you're putting 6 lots back there
We are.
for 6 businesses.
That's correct.
And is this beyond the dentist office?
It'd be right across the road from the dentist office.
Okay, so it's all going to be in front of GeoFlow.
That's correct. Yeah.
Point of clarification, so 5 businesses, right?
There'll be 5 businesses, then 1 lot will be the drainage easement. Yeah.
Does this extend to where they're doing the wood, cutting the wood over here?
Where you see that, that is this development.
Is that-
Yeah. So right now they're just clearing off the trees and opening it up so you can see what's kind of going on in there with the property.
Years ago, Mr. Miller came before us and he said that he was going to put a nice fountain out there and things like that, and was going to have an opening out onto John Williams Boulevard where you go into Walmart, where that stoplight would take care of the traffic problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a possibility?
That would actually be going right through the cave opening if you did that, because the cave opening pretty much lines up with the entrance to Walmart. Yeah. Now when they did John Williams Boulevard, like if you look at lot 5, there is a curb cut there already. You'll see a note on there that says entrance and exit to lot 5. There's already a curb cut there for that lot. That was done when they developed John Williams Boulevard.
Is that what this little illustration is right here?
That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yep.
I seen it today. when I
Yeah.
went by there.
Which is a great spot because it's up on top of the hill, so you have line of sight in either way, whoever develops on Route 5.
I'm concerned, Travis, about the amount of traffic that's gonna come out onto John Williams Boulevard from
Yep.
5 other businesses back there.
And that is an honest concern. And we have an addendum to this, also on this development. As you come out of Williams Park, obviously, you know, the stoplight's less than 100 feet from this entrance. We're proposing to possibly put a median there. So if you're leaving Williams Park, you have to turn right. You can't go across traffic. So as part of our design, we have thrown in a concrete median there to keep people from going left or east. They'll have to go to the right. And the people wanting to come in there will have to go up to the new roundabout to get back in.
Could we put a J turn in there,
A J turn?
like they're putting in all the way up to 37?
Well, we could.
Would that apply to the curb cut out there on lot 5 if there's a
No.
entrance or exit? there?
Just because that has good line of sight.
Okay.
To where you can get in and out pretty easy. The only thing is when you're pulling out of Williams Park Drive, I mean, it gets pretty congested there
Mhm.
and traffic gets backed up. So doing it this way will force people leaving there to go right. Okay. The only bad thing about them going right is there's not a roundabout to loop them back. So they're gonna have to hang a left and go on to, James Drive or whatever that is there to come back. Going the other way, you do have the cul-de-sac where you can loop back around and get back in. So actually the cul-de-sac going in or the roundabout did us a favor with this development.
This meeting that you're going to put in, you won't have a way for people coming this way to, like in front of Starbucks, where you can go east and still get in there even though you're not supposed to.
Right.
Is this median gonna be the same thing?
They would have to jump the curb if they were gonna do it. Yeah, so it'll come down Williams Park and then it's gonna flare out to where it forces them to do, if you're coming in, you gotta come this way. If you're going that way, you have to go that way or you jump the curb.
What about the sidewalk?
We will be putting sidewalks in for this development. There will be lighting. We're proposing 3 light poles.
I'm talking about sidewalks on John Williams Boulevard.
Well, that would fall within the right of way of the city because the city purchased right of way there for John Williams Boulevard.
The sidewalk doesn't come all the way down there, does it?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will have sidewalks on our development taking you out to the main road there. But we won't have anything that will connect to a public sidewalk just because they're not there.
Is that median on here?
I've got it on this little plan. It's not on this one, but you can see it here, what we're proposing if you want to pass it around. We'll have, it's going to be striped, so we'll have turn arrows there telling people they have to go one way or another. Yeah, so it'll all be striped. There'll be a stop bar there, and that will be a 6-inch curb to make sure people aren't jumping it. And like I say, the arrows will be painted, telling people you gotta go right, and it's entrance only type thing. And it'll be plenty of room there because that road's 25 feet wide. So there's enough room for semis to get into GeoFlow and to leave GeoFlow. So that would accommodate a 53-foot trailer coming and going.
Travis, is there an existing easement where the cave is now on this property?
There's not.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now we do not have an existing easement. We have an easement for where the head wall is, but we do not have anything for the cave opening at all. So putting this in place will protect that cave opening and all the runoff that comes to it from pretty much that whole side of John Williams Boulevard.
How do you feel about this?
We met with Travis out there. They did agree that they would extend the pipes down there. I think it will not cause any other issues that we could see.
We're not going to be changing the obstruction of the flow. We're just extending those pipes is what we're doing. And we're not trying to throttle it down to a smaller pipe. We're staying with the same size and taking it out. Now, around where the cave opening is, we are going to put in what they call a temporary sediment trap, but this will be more of a permanent sediment trap. So it'll be riprap with number 53 stone on the front of it all the way around. So if anything comes from off-site that's got dirt in it or anything, it will filtrate through before it goes into the cave. So we don't pollute anything.
Are you happy with this traffic situation?
I'm concerned about the traffic situation. I've had a conversation with with David Flynn, the street commissioner. He and I are supposed to meet with the mayor to have a further discussion about it. There's been preliminary thought of maybe doing a study to see about rearranging that light or adding on to the light that actually is Walmart's light. That's as far as we've gotten at this point.
Will the chief of police be involved in this?
I'm sure we will include it, yes.
So this is technically a public hearing, correct?
This is a public hearing, yes.
Has there been any response?
I did not receive any phone calls, emails, anything about it, from anybody I sent notice to.
There are several businesses. There's a dentist, there's, Farm Bureau is there, GeoFlow is back in the back. I'm thinking they may decide to, and I'm surprised they haven't, if they know about this traffic flow change. That's going to affect them and their customers big time, more than just, I mean, it's certainly larger than these 5 lots of businesses.
Now, people coming out there will be able to turn left or right, still. Coming out of the dentist office.
No, they
No, they'll have to go right.
Forced to go right.
If we do the meeting.
Farm Bureau might have that because they have another entrance there on to the east on the Farm Bureau building. Correct.
True, they do.
Yeah.
But Farm Bureau they come in off of Williams Park and
And then you'll have the issue
What's
potentially
that?
people trying to cheat it
Yeah.
system by pulling into their parking lot and cutting through.
Yeah. You know, when they did the Walmart development, this road came after Walmart, from what I can tell. So it wasn't really, this was a planned development.
Mhm.
So when it was done, nobody even thought about it. But, traffic has picked up since then and different things. But, in looking at it, boy, it's a tough thing to fix, to solve, just because of how close it is to Walmart. And if you go to try to resituate Walmart, you got their retention pond there. That's going to come into play.
Mhm.
So you couldn't really come out and S their drive, because then you're going to get into their retention pond type thing. And then when you start looking at redoing an intersection and traffic lights, it gets expensive real quick on things.
I think the natural tendency is to go west anyway, coming out of there because of the traffic. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way I went today.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Travis, which lot is Cole buy, or is looking to buy? Is it lot 5?
Cole, if this doesn't work out on what he's doing originally, Cole is looking at lot 5.
Okay, gotcha.
To have the entrance there on John Williams.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of interest in these lots. There hasn't been any for sale signs put up or anything, just his sign. And there's been 3 people hitting pretty hard that are interested in these lots.
Wouldn't we be wise to wait until after the people studied the traffic thing before we would move on this?
Traffic studies will take months.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take months.
Well, you have another hearing, next, even though it's a public hearing, you still have next month.
Yeah.
It comes back to you next month,
And that may give us time to meet with the city, the mayor, and kind of go through what we need to on this. But for me, looking at it, the only thing I could come up with was the median. And we actually even talked about, some other options, but the median is the simplest solution to the traffic issue.
And you are going to put that in?
Yeah. Well, if you tell me we have to, we have to. Now, if you don't tell me we have to, I'm not going to.
Make sure you put that in there.
I'm just saying.
And then we're gonna make Travis put his initials in that median.
I'll put it right in the concrete.
Fresh concrete.
So right now, this is zone I2. It says on our thing, and you're not looking for
We will have to come
rezoning
back.
at this point. Are you going to come back to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be coming back for a rezone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
We
at
just wanted to
that
see if the
point,
plan
I'm
would
gonna
fly.
go back to the same thing that I did earlier. We're gonna wanna see some significant plans on how this is going to work
Right.
before we approve the rezoning. So there's still some risk
Right.
to in all of this, both from the traffic and from the drainage and from the businesses that may want to, because I thought from looking at it, it was probably going to come back to us because I didn't see this be what fits in the I-2 where it just is a done deal and we don't get a crack at it.
So what you see in front of you is our grading and drainage plan and the road plan. So I'll have a full Rule 5 plan and everything when we come in for the rezone. You know, we just didn't want to get too deep into it cost-wise. We wanted to get you enough to where you could see what was happening grading-wise, drainage-wise, lot layout, to make sure it was going to work for this area. Yeah.
So, commission, what do we do with it?
I'll make the motion to move it on to another public hearing. Is that it? Or just to approve?
The way it reads is the first one is the public hearing and it comes back to you again for your final.
And at that final hearing next month, I will have a full set of construction plans for you.
I'll make a motion to move it on to the meeting, another meeting next month.
With the idea that the median will be in it.
Absolutely.
Well, we don't want these things to slip up on us.
For sure. You know, we want to protect the public, so.
I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. And,
Thank you.
he is abstaining. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, I think the next item is a preliminary hearing from Adam Chastain. That's you? All right.
Yeah. So,
Know you got all these name changes?
what's that?
Does your mother know you've got all these?
I got a
name
lot of
changes?
aliases.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm representing Adam Chastain. He owns 2 city lots at the northeast corner of I Street and 7th Street. The lots right now are 45 feet wide, each one of them, by 150 feet. He's looking to reorient these. Right now, the lots go east-west. He's wanting to split it north-south and do 2 bigger lots. So instead of being 45 feet wide, they'll be 75 feet by 90 feet, which will make them 6,750 square feet in size.
Did this property used to have a lot of signs on it?
Sure did. Yeah.
So we are aware where it is.
Yeah.
Any questions? comments?
Yeah, so you're saying that the dividing line would be north and south?
That's correct, instead of east-west. Right now, the lots go east-west and they're 45 by 150. So we're looking at going north-south and going 75 by 90.
Now, let me, this came before zoning 2 weeks ago. And the request then was to take this lot and divide it into 3, which made all 3 of them out of compliance because they were too small. And we rejected that. So now this is coming back for a subdivision into 2, which takes
Makes sense.
1 lot that's in compliance, makes 2 lots that are in compliance. Still, but we did have, the zoning did get a crack at it and didn't like the initial plan.
So are you making a motion that we send this back?
It wouldn't be sending it back. That one,
Okay,
that one's done.
So
It'll come back to us for,
This is just a preliminary hearing to let him subdivide it into 2
so
lots.
it would come back to us for a public hearing
Yeah,
next year.
public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we send it to a public hearing next
have a
month.
motion to send to public hearing?
I'll second that.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay. Are you Jody Cobb?
I am.
All right, this is a preliminary hearing. It's always something. Jody Cobb to reconfigure L&D lot 10, 50 by 180, L&D lot 11, 43 by 180, L&D parcel lot 12, 43, 43 for a minor subdivision to become 3 lots. Lot 2 will be 50 by 130, 6,500 square feet. Lot 2A will be 50 by 130, 6,500 square feet. Lot 2B will be 43 by 50, 55, 90 square feet. They're zoned PR for a minimum square footage of 6,000 feet. And the Board of Zoning granted a variance for lot 2B. Is that correct?
That's correct, we did.
All right, talk to us, Travis.
Yep, so he's got 3 tracts of land here, and he's just to reconfigure those and have 3 lots. 2 of the lots run east-west. There was a small lot in the northeast quadrant there that was just like a 50 by 50 lot. So he's looking to bring it into compliance by creating a lot that goes north-south there, and then he'll have 2 east to west lots that border on P Street and 25th Street. And like they said, we did get a variance for lot 2B since it's under the 6,000 square feet to get the 5590 for that one.
This is P and what?
P and 25th, right there by Dunn.
This is over by Dunn Hospital, Byron. It's those houses in there, they've been doctor's offices, they've been various things. They're across the street from Dunn, or what used to be Dunn.
Okay, all right. Any concerns? The zoning board granted the variance. Any comments? You people on the zoning board have anything to tell us? Do we have a motion to move it to a public hearing?
I make that motion to move it to a public hearing.
I hear a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Hear a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you folks for sticking with us.
You did better than you did at zoning. You was like 1 for 6.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
I have a motion to adjourn. Anyone second?
Second.
I hear a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. There can be no comments on that.